Good morning everybody, it's JPR, and today the new Zygarde forms were officially revealed internationally. Now, instead of wasting you guys' time with the obvious stuff, I'm going to be telling you guys about the origins of the 10% form and the complete form of Zygarde. As many of you may know, the Mortality trio from Pokemon X and Y is based on Norse mythology, and these new forms are no exception. But before that, we gotta start with what we know. First comes Zygarde's cell form. Unlike Solosis, this thing is a literal cell, to the point where it doesn't even think or move, making researchers in Kalos think that this thing isn't even a real Pokemon. My theory is that these little guys are actually the little green shapes you see Zygarde controlling when it uses the moves Thousand Arrows and Thousand Waves, two of its signature moves. It makes sense these guys can't use attacks of their own, so they just act as the superior being's attack. Next we have Bob the Zygarde core form. Unlike the cells, they can actually communicate with each other, and they are capable of taking action when a disturbance occurs in the environment. I don't know if we'll be catching any of these guys, but I think they will be seen in the overworld of the next game, appearing only in the areas where Team Flare attacks, since their main plot involves warping and destroying the ecosystem to the point where they can only survive. Then, when 10% of the nearby cells fuse together, we get Zygarde 10% form. Here's where the Norse mythology comes in. This form is based on the hound, Fenrir. Fenrir was one of the 3 children of a Norse god named Loki. Apparently Fenrir grew up so fast and became so powerful that the gods were constantly having to chain him up, fearing that he would eventually destroy them all. Perhaps that rapid growth is represented by the many Zygarde cells multiplying to create this form. And like the cells, in Norse mythology there is believed to be many canine-like incarnations of Fenrir, meaning that it could also appear in numerous places in Kalos. Also, it's worth noting that Fenrir's name literally means "he who dwells in the marshes." Is this foreshadowing to Fenrir's first appearance being in the marshlands north of Lumio City? After all, there is some big Zygarde theory revolving around the Scary House story from X and Y. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just look up theories about the Horde of Faceless Men. Next is Zygarde 50% form. This guy represents Loki's second child, Nidhogg, the giant snake that wraps itself around the World Tree. It's also known as He Who Strikes with Malice. In Norse mythology, this snake is portrayed as an evil dragon that wants to plunge the world into crisis. Zygarde doesn't really seem that way at first glance, but then again, we don't really know much about its behavior so far. It is said that when the other giants walk the earth, Nidhogg will emerge from its cave and aid in destroying the world. So maybe that secret power it possesses may actually be the power of destruction rather than order. Maybe this is what makes Team Flare pursue Zygarde instead of the ultimate weapon this time around. Then again, we still don't know if this game is going to be a sequel or a retelling of X and Y. If it's a sequel, then maybe Zygarde emerges from its cave because Xerneas and Yveltal have been revived by Team Flare, just like the Norse legend says. And finally, Zygarde's complete form. This form is based on Loki's third child, Hel, also known as Hidden. She is a goddess that acts somewhat as a personification of the underworld. Actually, her story is pretty cloudy and there aren't many details about her. But perhaps the way she always resides in the underworld may mean that Zygarde's complete form will only appear deep underground in Terminus Cave. It is said that Zygarde will not activate this form unless the ecosystem is in grave danger, or if Zygarde is facing an opponent it can't beat. Wait, Zygarde, I've used you in competitive battling lots of times, and there are lots of Pokemon you couldn't beat. I don't know, bud, but you've got some explaining to do. Thanks for watching. If you found this to be interesting, then be sure to leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already. And definitely post what you guys think Zygarde's role will be in the next game down in the comments. I'll see you guys next time.